Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to use this Edge Pro Apex clone. And also I'm going to be kind of doing a review of it and just how well it works. For me it works really well. But yeah, I'm just going to give you a little tutorial on how to use it, how I use it. Lots of people use it different ways. But this is how I use it and it works well for me. So let's get into it. First off, you've got, well, first of all, this is the knife we're going to be sharpening. It's the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And it is pretty sharp right now, but I found the other day that it's got a little chip in the blade, so I figured I'd get that out of there. So we're doing that. But anyway, these are the stones here. And these stones actually do not come with the clone set. The clone set comes in this black bag here. It's got all this stuff in here. It's got this manual how to use it. It actually comes with these stones. And do not use these stones. They're horrible. I'm telling you right now, do not use them. They will, like you can see how black they are with all the metal. They're horrible. So you can get the set for about $30. That is what I got. But then I went and bought actual Apex Edge Pro ceramic pieces. And this is a 400 grit, and then I also have a 600 and 1000 grit, and those work well for me. So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to want to get this surface wet. And I've got just a water bottle with a hole on top, and then some soap water, some hot soapy water in there. You just want to get it wet. And normally I've got a paper towel underneath, but I don't this time. But it's okay. I can clean out later. Anyway, so you want to have that all wet, and then you want to have this right here. This little knob. This will turn, and you can move this up and down to change the angle that you want to be sharpening at. And this angle that I'm going to be using is 18 degrees. So we'll set it right on 18 degrees. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then this right here adjusts how far up the blade is off the edge. And so you want it to be just barely off the edge, and not so much that the blade is starting to kind of bend when you put a lot of pressure on it, but just enough that it's just barely off. So like that. That's good. So what you're going to do, looks like I need to make this wet again. You can get your stone wet. And then you want to make sure you have your blade at a constant angle. You want to make sure it's secure the entire time. Alright? And then you're just going to go, and I do 20 passes on each side, and then I go down from 5 each time. That's how I do it. So we'll start again. So there's 20. And you kind of want to just look, make sure it looks like it's sharpening it right. This looks like sharpen it a little low, maybe. But we'll try on the other side, see how it works. And with these lower grit stones, you gotta put water on it more often, just because they're not as fine. With the 1000 grit, you can put it on every little while. You don't have to put it on right away, but with these 400 grit, you gotta put it on pretty much every time. So we'll do it 20 on this side. Do a little more. Let's see, and that seems a little bit high, so a little lower. These markings aren't exactly accurate all the time, so sometimes you gotta play around with it a little bit just to get the right angle. So that was 20 on each side. I'll go down to 15 now. There you go. That looks much better. That's good. You want to make sure you get the stone nice and wet, and you want to make sure when you're doing this that you're using the entire stone, not just one small portion, otherwise you're going to really wear out that section. and you're not gonna be able to take off metal as efficiently. So. Good, looks good. I'll see if I can get that. I'll see if I have that edge out there. The little. Looks like it's still in there, but I normally, what I do is I go, like I said, I start 20, go down by 5 each time, and I do that for every stone that I have, so that by the end I have a really, really nice finish. So that was 15. We'll go down to 10 now. Make sure it's all nice and wet. Oh, that was 12. Whoops. If you ever do too much or you do too little, but just make sure you're always doing the same amount on each side. So. Okay, so there was 12 on that side then too. So now I'm going down to 5. So then I'm done with this stone. And then to change stones, you just have this little ball here and you unscrew it. And these will pop right out. Alright, so you put that up this side. I have to clean that later. And then I got my 600 grit. I'll put that one in here. And you're just going to be doing the exact same thing. And when it comes to pressure on these stones, you want to put, I don't want to say you want to put a lot of pressure. You don't want to be like pushing down super hard, but you want to give enough pressure that you can feel that it is taking away some metal there. So we're going to start with 20 again on each side here. And then this one looks like it's. I should probably put more on. A little bit more water on. I found that this making sure that it's wet all the time just works really well. Hold on. I found, sorry, I can't count and talk at the same time. But I found that, well, when I was first doing this, I didn't use water. I didn't use soap water. I just did it dry, and it kind of made my stones really full of metal and all that good stuff, all that bad stuff, really. So then I saw a couple other guys use soap water and just use different water, just warm water on it, and that really pulls the metal away from the stone and keeps it a lot cleaner. Also seems to just do better on the blade, I think. So ever since I started doing that, my blade's been turning out a lot better. But they were turning out really well to begin with. But I think I spent about $30 on the system, just like the China clone system, and then about $17 each on each stone. So in total, I think I spent around 75. Oops. I think that was 15. I think around 75 or $80 on this stuff. And trust me, guys, it's definitely worth the money to buy these stones. Don't try to use the China ones because they won't last. They're made out of plastic. These backings are made out of plastic on there, and they'll break and it won't work for you. So make sure you get the real ones. So 50 on this side. Put some more water on it. The system's starting to move a little bit. They have these suction cups down here that are supposed to keep it in place. Sometimes they come up a little bit, and I gotta just kind of make sure that they're wet, but not soaking wet, which looks like they are. There's all this water here. Okay, there we go. That's good. All right. So we're down to 10 per side. You can also tell, one thing I've learned is that you can tell when you're on these higher grit stones, you can tell when it's really at the right angle of the edge, because it's just not, you can tell it's not taking off like a bunch of new material, and like it's not really going at a bad angle to the edge. You can, I don't know, you can, don't know quite how to explain it, but you can tell. There we go. Yeah, the blade's looking real good. Let's see if I got that out of there yet. Looks like I did. And we'll go ahead and do a cut test real quick just to see. Right off real quick. Got some paper here. Let's see. Let's see, the chip in the blade was somewhere around right in here. So we'll I think I got it out. And it's already filthy sharp, you see? Just push cutting straight down for the most part. That's, I mean, see, I'm only on the second stone right now. I'm not even done with the second stone, so, and it's getting a really nice mirror polish on that edge too. So by the time I get to 1,000 grit, you'll be able to see yourself in it. So then we've got 5 to do on each side with this stone. See, now it's after 5. It's obviously still wet enough, so don't need to put more water on it. So done with that stone. We'll put on the next one. This is the 1,000 grit, and I love this 1,000 grit because it really does. It just puts a mirror polish on the blade. And I've tried to sharpen. I have another S30V blade. This paramilitary's S30V. I also have a Spyderco Embassy with S30V, and that one I had tried several times before to sharpen it on something that was not the Edge Pro, and it didn't have, the highest grit I had, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't 1,000. But either way, I mean, like, it just couldn't get near the edge as I can with this system, and I love this thing. So that's why I brought this thing to college with me. I'm in my dome right now doing this, so we'll do 20 on each side again. So let's go. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I get excited when I start to see that polish there. Looks really good. Okay, I need some more water. With this higher grit, you really don't need much water at all because it spreads over the surface so much because it's a fine grit. So. That's one thing you don't watch for. I accidentally just did that, but pulling the stone off, and then it actually just came below the edge a little bit, and then came back to it, and that's, you got to really worry about that because this is ceramic, and so it's a lot harder than the steel, and you can chip the blade if you do that. Luckily, normally I'm pretty good about not doing that, but when it does happen, I'm not doing it too hard, so the edge looks all right. So that's one thing you got to be careful about, though. Okay, that was 20. Yeah, looking good. And one thing, oh whoops, I'm not done with this yet. What am I doing? One thing though that you want to make sure you do with all your knives when you sharpen them, whether you're just going to put the factory edge back on it, like you already know the angle that it's on it. That's normally what I like to do. I don't like to put a new edge on something. But we want to write it down. I write it down in this book. All the knives that I sharpened, I just write down. They have in this here the different angles and all that stuff, and so I write down, okay, this is this angle, this is this angle. That way, when you go to do a knife, you're not going to forget. You just look back at that and see, oh, okay, that's what I did. So that's really useful. Make sure you do that. Keep track of everything. So we'll do 15 on each side now. And it's 8:25 right now, and Notre Dame is playing soon. Go ND, go Irish. Playing Kentucky Wildcats in the Elite Eight. So let's go Notre Dame. And let's see. Sorry, I gotta talk in between when I'm sharpening, because like I said, it's kind of hard to sharpen and or kind of hard to talk and sharpen and count and everything at the same time. But also repping New England Patriots, winning their 4th Super Bowl. You can hate all you want, but the hate is because they ain't us. Put more water on there. Down to 10 times now. Okay, and that's still wet enough. We'll go, yeah, we'll go 5. And a lot of times on this last one, I'll just go over it just a couple more times, and I'll also go over the edge of the knife and also the back part, because it's kind of easy to kind of miss those while you're sharpening, because you don't want to, like, when you're sharpening, you don't want to go way off the edge, because then you come back again, you might hit it on that ceramic, you might hit the tip there and break that tip off. And then with the back part of the blade, you don't want to go too far back there, otherwise you might scratch the ceramic on the choil there. So a lot of times I'll go, I'll do another 5 passes on each side with the 1000 grit, and then I'll also go and I'll just do the edges, the front and the back edge of each side a little bit, just to make sure I got those parts really good. Looks great. I'll dry this sucker off. Then you want to make sure when you clean this all up, because there's a lot of water involved here, you want to make sure you're taking all your metal stuff apart, making sure that you're cleaning all of it, making sure it's all dry so it's not rusting. And we'll see if you can get a good look at this edge now. Focus. Yeah. Doesn't focus in really well, but you can still see that kind of mirror. There you go. That's pretty good. See that mirror polish on there? Looks beautiful. And then let's see if it'll shave some hair. Don't have much hair on my arms because I got shaving it off already. We'll see. Not really sure where that went. It's cut off the hair, but I don't know if you could see that very well. Anyway, and it looks like I got that little gash out of the blade too, so that's exactly what I was trying to do. So just like an overall review of this system, for me it works super well. A lot of people like to use the Spyderco SharpMaker, and it does take a lot of the guesswork out of sharpening, because you just have to go up and down, vertical at a certain angle. But again, with that, you really can only sharpen at 2 different angles. With this, I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 set angles on here, and then obviously you can go anywhere in between. So I think the possibilities are a lot greater with this system, and you have greater precision, because you're not just because while it's fairly easy to hold the blade up and down, you're not always going to get it perfectly. Where this, you know, you've got the blade that's sitting on there, and that's going to be perfect. And this is going to stay at a constant angle the entire time. So I think this system's a little more reliable than the SharpMaker. But this is a clone. This isn't the real Apex, or Edge Pro Apex. And while I wish I had one of those, I don't really have the money. Like I said, I'm a college student. I don't have the money to pay $250 or however much it is for one of those. And I've had this thing for over a year now, and it works great for me. So if you guys want to get one, I got this off Amazon. Just look up Edge Pro Apex clone or whatever on Amazon. You'll find them. But then, like I said, make sure you get the real stones. The real stones, they work awesome. And I would suggest getting the 400, 600, and 1000 grit. If you plan on keeping it a factory edge, if you plan on reprofiling a lot of your knives to different angles, I would say get a lower grit, because if you're trying to reprofile, the 400 doesn't do a very good job of that. But for me, it works well because I like to keep the factory edge on there. So, all right, well, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching my video, guys. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.